So, I'm trying to, become a better content creator. Now, unfortunately, time-wise, it's not the easiest. I definitely have a lot going on, and there's not too much I can do sometimes. But you know what I can do? I could talk about one of my favorite things, video games. So what we're going to start doing, this is going to go on YouTube and Spotify to start, and hopefully we'll grow and make our way to other platforms. But we're going to talk video games. Now, what does that mean? We're going to make top 10 lists. We're going to do reviews of games, old and new. We're going to talk about, news stuff that comes out. We're going to talk about, directs. We're going to talk about state of plays and like all that good stuff. Like, we want to be able to talk about anything video games. And I think that's going to be the best way for me to, share with everybody who wants to grow with this audience as best I can. Now, with that being said, everything I talk about and all this stuff is going to be biased, based off of me and my preferences. So, like, the new sports games coming out, I'm going to love it because I'm a sports guy, but you might not like it, and that's okay. I want you to share your opinions, but you do not, we don't get vicious, we don't get angry. Now, that means, no one's ever going to have the same opinion. No one's going to have my opinion. I'm not going to have anyone else's opinion. We got to be respectful. We got to be, with each other on this. So we're going to start doing reviews. We're going to start doing a lot more, just talking. We're going to do, I used to do Let's Plays and all that stuff. I'm a huge gamer. And I think the best way to really bring myself out to do some more gaming stuff is to do reviews and stuff like that. So we're going to really get going in that. And I think we're going to have some good times. We've got, I've got a game I already want to talk about. It's a one from my classic childhood here. And it's so fun. And I'll even, for this first episode, I want to break down exactly how we're going to do it. So the first game we're going to talk about is Mario Superstar Baseball. Now, at the beginning of each review, I want to give like a little history about it. Talk about when it came out, like what was me at that time, and how did it affect me, when this game came out. So, for example, here, since we're going to talk about Mario Superstar Baseball, this game came out in 2005. I was a young boy at that time. I'm a young guy. And 2005, I was still a child. And Mario, I used to love playing the GameCube. The GameCube was fantastic. I had so many fantastic memories, playing Animal Crossing, playing, I think, Sonic Riders, I remember, was playing one of those, Super Smash Bros. Melee, and Mario Baseball. Mario Baseball was just such a fun game for me. And it really did bring out so much. And so I wanted to come back and talk about this game because it brought me so much joy. So I definitely wanted to go into a full review about this. Now, we'll break it down. I want to set myself a goal, so we'll talk about what I did during the journey. We'll talk about gameplay. We'll talk about, characters, features, anything that I feel is notable, and then I want to give also my rating for what I want to give it out. And that'll be at the end of each episode. Whatever we're talking about, I'll give a rating of whatever I'm reviewing. If it's, a top 10, no ratings. But that's just more of a ranking. So for this, I had my own little journey, and I'll start with the journey, and then we'll work our way through it. For the journey, I decided, they have a single player mode where you got to unlock all your characters. So I said, let's do all that. We're going to go through it all. We have each captain to go through to unlock their character, and then we actually unlock another bonus captain. And we unlock a character with him too. We got to do it in each difficulty, though. So, Mushroom Cup, Flower Cup, Star Cup, and, Special. I missed one, I think. Mushroom Cup, Flower Cup, Star Cup, and Special Cup. Four cups, 5 captains to start. So, 5 captains were Mario, Yoshi, Peach, Donkey Kong, and Wario. So, go down the list. I started with Yoshi. He's my absolute favorite character. There's no beating him. I used Yoshi to get Baby Luigi. That's who you unlock with that. I went through. It wasn't too bad. You just got to beat Mario. You got to beat every captain, and then you got to take on Bowser, and you got to get players to make yourself stronger. But you only get characters once you beat the whole thing. So once you take your captain and beat Bowser, that's how you get it. So I had to do this campaign 5 times. The campaign, I ran it with each difficulty, each captain, and then I had to do it one more time to get Bowser. Now, Bowser unlocks the Hammer Bro, and they do it a little differently. So you have to play all the captains. You don't really unlock anybody in that one. You have to keep your core team. And then once you beat everyone, you have to go one more time to your castle and take on all the captains, and they're number 2s. So like with Mario and Luigi, Peach and Daisy, Wario, Waluigi, Yoshi, Birdo, and then I think they threw in one Pianta in there because, that's 9 people. And it was something, you know, honestly, for a story, like, it was very dry bones, like the character, but it was still kind of like immersive at the same time. Like, you know, you're trying to get through it, but you're also like, there's no real like plot going on. It's just you're playing baseball, and the real goal is just beat Bowser. That's it. That's all you got to do. Now, when I say it was, you know, it was time consuming, it was fun, I can't complain. I decided, because I wanted to just have one little last challenge, I decided, you know what? Let's just do like one final game. We'll do hardest difficulty. We'll pick I pick Yoshi as my captain and Waluigi as their captain. You know, Waluigi's not the main villain in most Nintendo games. He's got maybe Mario Dance Dance Revolution. So I decided let's make him the villain. So I decided let's do that. We played a full 9-inning games. You know, I went up 5-0. And then I gave up 7 runs to make it 7-5, but I was able to come in the clutch, you know. Peach was pitching. I had everything going on. I was able to win 8-7, which let me beat, you know, I beat Mario Baseball in my way. And that just gave me a purpose to do something. But, you know, there was also some other stuff like, you know, mini games and all that stuff. But we'll get into that later down the road. Now, after explaining, you know, what I did for the journey, or if it's a story, I want to be able to go into like some characters. If there's like other characters to play as. When it comes to story-based games, I'll talk about doing that at the end, so this way we could set up a spoiler warning for anyone who doesn't want to be spoiled, but you know, I can still talk about it. Now, for the characters in this game, they have, you know, they base off their characters in sections. So there are the all-arounders, the technique players, the speed, and the power players. You know, the all-arounders consist of Mario, Luigi, they're always there. Daisy, which was a shock. Birdos was pretty interesting. Toad, Shy Guy, Goomba, and the Koopa Troopa. Now, that one's a little interesting. I didn't think that would be all-rounders, you know. I thought maybe the Koopa Troopa... Actually, now that I think about it in my head a little more, I think that's a good all-rounder. I think those are some good all-rounders. They were good at a little bit of everything, but they weren't really, like... There's no, like, one area you're like, oh, these guys are amazing. Like, they were able to do everything. So I think they were good. Now... during my playthrough, I was using Shy Guy a lot because I like Shy Guy. Shy Guy's a good character. But for some reason, he was hitting all my home runs. I thought that would be the power hitters, but it wasn't. It was always Shy Guy. So Shy Guy maybe needed to be switched to power because, my God, he was hitting those hard. Now, the technique characters, they consisted of Peach, Waluigi, Dixie Kong, Boo, Toadsworth, Koopa Troopa, Magic Koopa, and Dry Bones. I don't know why Dry Bones is there. I feel like he'd be an all-rounder. I mean, he's just a Koopa Troopa without skin. I don't know why Wings make him technique either. But, you know, I still like that they're trying to add those characters. With that, though, you know, they're more fielding. But I noticed that the pitchers, you know, they were Peach and Waluigi. They were always the best. And I would always want to pick Peach, because I don't know why. I never liked Waluigi, you know, as my pitcher. I would always pick Peach. And I was always cool with that. And it always worked. Now, the speed characters, they literally were just all about running fast. And they picked Yoshi, Diddy Kong, Baby Mario, Baby Luigi, Toadette, Monty Mole, Paragoomba, and the Nokis. I don't know how to actually pronounce their names, so I'm just going to call them the Nokis. Now, again, if Goomba is an all-rounder, why is Paragoomba speed? Like, do the wings really just make it better? Like, then why wouldn't the Koopa Troopa also be speed? But we're not going to get too far into that. Toadette is a speedster. I don't get that. The baby characters, yeah, I can understand that. Yoshi's always speed, no matter what, but he's my favorite, and so I'm always going to pick him. I don't care where he is. He's my guy. And Diddy Kong, I don't know why Diddy Kong is speed. The power players. Now, these guys are all about power. They have the big bats, you know, consisting of Donkey Kong, Bowser, King Boo, Wario, Bowser Jr., Petey Piranha, the Piantas, and Hammer Bros. You know, they hit the balls hard, but I never seem to hit a home run with them, and I never got that. But you know what? Yeah, they do a good job. They did good. I think, you know, there's a few out there that I was a little confused by, but it's okay. Now, when it comes to playing the game, so now I want to, you know, we'll talk about always the gameplay too. I think I'll switch these in future, but actually, no, I like having characters first. Gameplay will always come after the characters. And for me personally, this game was very easy to pick up and play. It was super, like, you know, you really, there wasn't too much, like, it's pretty easy to play, and I can't even say it's that hard to, like, it's pretty hard to master. Like, you know, you have to figure out when to use star hits. You got to know when to do all this stuff. But I feel like it's just, you know, there's plenty of upside here. Like, it's super easy. Anyone can pick it up and play. I think it's just fantastic. It's a fantastic. Now, with that being said, it is still very bare bones. Like, the most excitement you get sometimes is through... It's through, wow, I can't even think of it right now. It's, you know, basically always through the, you know, the differences between pitching and batting. Like, that's where all the power-ups come in. You really don't do much else, you know, with where, you know, you don't really do much else with, like, the fielding or anything. Like, yeah, you can jump the wall and catch stuff, and you can do all that stuff, but it's like, you really can't do anything else. Like, I feel like there was more you could have done there, but this is a good stepping stone, because, you know, we know that later down the road they were able to come out, and I'll talk about that hopefully someday in the future. But there's really not much, like, you know, it's still a very dry bones, you know, baseball game, and that's still, it's, you know, there's no complaints about that. That's great. But really helps it are the mini games. Now, there are plenty of things to do. Like there's a fielding minigame with the piranha plants. You know, you have to match the egg and throw it to the right color piranha plant. And that is awesome. That is great, but it's really hard to master. Like, that one is a tough one. Like, I've played that a few times, and my God, that one really would always kick my butt. Like, it would just always, screw it. I'm going to curse anyway. It just kicked my ass every time. Like, even playing on easy, I couldn't even do it. That was a tough one. They had the base running one. It's Chain Chomp Coin Runners, something along those lines. I think that's what it's called. That one, you know, honestly, that one's not as fun. That like, you just hit Y and X and you're just running around the bases, and hopefully you're safe when the Chain Chomp links up. And I can't say that's fun. That's not the greatest. Like, it's really a rough one, that one. Like, I wish they did a little more for that. Like, it would be so cool if they were able to do that. I don't know. That just honestly, I couldn't really, like, get into that one. That one wasn't too fun. Yeah, so home run derby was always fun. That's you know, the home run derby always made it fun. That one was always, home run derbies in any baseball game are awesome. There was wall ball, which was pitching. That one was a little interesting because you had to try to hit the glass one without breaking the Bowser block. And honestly, I mean, that one's all about timing and power. That one's interesting. There's one other I think I'm forgetting. But I think it wasn't the greatest. I will, you know, if I find it, I'll try to get the notes on that. But we'll come back. We can backtrack. There's one other mode in there that we need to talk about, and that's the toy field. The toy field, I think, was such a great idea. I'm so happy that they were able to do that. I'm Googling right now too. It was Wall Ball, Star Dash. I don't remember that one. Oh, Star Dash. I remember Star Dash. All right. All right. So Barrel Batter was a timing minigame. You want to try to hit as many of the same colored barrels to do what you needed to do. Talked about that. The Chain Chomp Sprint wasn't that fun. Piranha Panic was the hard one. So Star Dash, yeah, that's the one I'm thinking. That was another one. That one was more fun because that goes into the next thing I'm going for, the toy field. The toy field mechanic, like, you know, was so fun. So basically, it was a 4-person, basically, like, you know, free for all. You want to try to score points by either catching the, you know, batting, but you could also catch the ball while fielding to get points, like steal points from other people. And that's where, like, you get some items, and, you know, that's, I feel like, where Mario could have went. Like, if you could get Mario Baseball to use items when you play, it's awesome, and, like, it would have been great. And I think the toy field was able to capture that kind of slightly, because, like, you still couldn't use items to throw it on the field, but you could use items to steal points. You could use the star to, like, you know, and it just was such wild, craziness out there. And I think it was great. It was such a fun mode. I used to love playing that all the time. I'd grab 4 friends, we'd plug in our controllers and get in there. And I think it was fantastic. I think it's a great game. And just that mode was just beautiful. I think they did that really well. And I think that was just something that I thought was a great, great thing. Now, because this game doesn't really have too much to talk about, you know, I can't sit here for an hour and just be gushing over how great this game is. Like, there's still plenty of flaws. Now, I talked about kind of the big stuff that comes with the game. Once I go over each category, and I'll try to make it more, like, you know, grand gesture of all that. I want to give a rating, for each game. So like I'll go into like some pros, I'll go into some cons at the end here and kind of recap what I'm saying, and then give it like a good final rating. I think that's what I want to do at the end of each episode here, and I think that'll be a fun way to kind of connect because I'll down in the comments, or if you're listening to this on Spotify at the time being, tweet me, what your rating for these games are. And I think for Mario Baseball, like it has a lot of pros, simple gameplay, easy to get into, still fun, very arcadey. But at the same point, some of the mini games fall flat. The field that they could add a little more chaotic because it is a Mario game. There's a lot more you could do with it, and I think the nostalgia goggles hit me when I first played the game. But I think as I discussed it more, throughout this time talking with y'all about the game, I think my nostalgia glasses kind of started to come off a little more. It's still a great game, don't get me wrong, but if I had to give it a rating, I think I'm gonna have to give it a 6 out of 10. If for what it was, it's still a phenomenal game. But my final call, I think it's gonna get 6 out of 10. I think just that's the highest I can really go with it. If it did a little more, I think, but we see what comes up, and hopefully when I get to that, we can see how they built upon this. So I think that's just how we're gonna roll. I think this is a good beginner episode, nice and short. Not too much to talk about with Mario Superstar Baseball. We'll get into the more in-depth games here, later down the road. But I think this was a great beginning. I hope you guys follow along. Make sure to like, subscribe, and let me know what you want me to review, talk about, anything down the road too, because I'd love to get some input, and hopefully we can grow as a community. I hope you join us for the ride here, and this is what we're going to be calling the Keldroc Show. We'll see you in the next one.